Some conquests require strength. Some require speed. Some require finesse. But some require versatility. The chariot racers of ancient times fought their battles in dirt. Deep in the hills of South Carolina, our big rig gladiators shall continue their legacy.
Asphalt has a lot of grip and it stays usually fairly consistent. The dirt tracks, they can get sticky, they can get dry, they can be slick if it gets wet. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to figure tonight out. The last time American Big Rig was here, it rained. It downpoured about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This whole parking lot here was under about 6 inches of water and mud. And we got the track back enough for us to race, but we only had about a lane and a half, which makes it really tough for 13,000-pound semi-trucks to do a whole lot of aggressive racing.
My truck is a Volvo V&L, was originally. Got chopped off a little bit and got a single axle out of it. It's got a D13 Volvo engine in it. With a ZF16, 16-speed, fully synchronized transmission, pushing around 1,000 horsepower and somewhere around 3,700 to 4,000-ish foot-pound of torque. I'll be honest, this is the first time I've been on dirt. The truck never been on dirt. I am not 100% sure that my setup is actually going to work. I have no data or no confirmation of over how the truck or how am I going to do, on this track.
A couple of us come down here, got a few good laps in, a few breakdowns, but got some stuff worked out. But it was fast. I mean, a lot of guys out here this year are a lot faster than last year. If the rain holds off this year, I think it's going to be a really good race, really interesting. The beginning of the race, it's really different. Dirt is, you can't turn. I mean, there's no turning on dirt with these trucks. It's 12,000 pounds, you go into a curve, it will not turn. So the only way I can get this truck to turn is to just try to kick it sideways and kind of float through the curve. About halfway through the race, about lap 15 out of 30 laps, the track starts turning into more like an asphalt track. The dirt gets packed down, it gets harder, and the truck does no longer want to drift sideways. It wants to actually hook and stick. So you kind of, each lap, you're constantly having to adjust the truck and your driving and your technique because each lap is different. It's the hardest thing I've ever done is race on dirt, for sure.
Driving on asphalt, I mean, the truck is going to bite a whole lot better. That I feel it's going to stick to the pavement versus dirt. We're going to be loose. The rear end's going to come around with us, and we're going to hopefully drive it out without spinning out and having any issues today.
We done an engine change, a suspension change on the front, moved the axle forward, moved the engine back, done a transmission change. We've done a lot of drastic changes to it. On asphalt, when you get to the end of the straightaway, the truck will turn. On dirt, the truck does not want to turn. It wants to go straight. It's almost like driving on ice to a degree on snow. You have to really throttle the truck, and you can't use a lot of brake. You wind up using brake throttle to get the truck to rotate through the corner.
Asphalt, you don't want to break loose. You want to keep traction and go through the corners as fast as you can. And dirt, you want to break your tail loose and almost drift around the corners. So it's a totally different style of driving.
Right now, we're just going to go out there and have a good time. Try to get around this track. It's going to be dry, but I believe the truck is set up. I have set it up, done a few little tweaks on it. Hopefully that's going to help us with this track.
Generals of war use a command center to steer their troops. Our generals of speed use special big rig racing cockpits. The outside of their machinery is often crested with scars from past encounters. The bigger the scars, the broader the chest.
Oh, I'm just gonna go to the front, man. That's how this works, right? Go fast, go left. Go straight, go left again. some of it's going to be sideways.
I hope I'm going to do decent. My plan is at least running the pack, not falling behind. If it's possible, stay on the front of it as far as the leader guys, and try to fight for positions and see how it goes.
I'm hoping to start at a decent spot. It's hard to pass, as narrow as this track is. It's very hard to pass here. I'm hoping to get a good enough starting spot through qualifying to where I can be close to the front and just work our way on up.
I don't really have no strategy. We'll just see where we qualify, and hopefully we can get a good seat and maybe win this thing.
Practice, I felt great with the truck. Truck did really well. I was able to get around the curves and corners and sling it sideways and just really have a good time with it.
Strategy every day is just try to play it cool. Try not to get in a rush. Try to get in the front. If depending on where I start at, just try to keep it and hold it off. It's really hard to pass here on dirt. These trucks, like I say, 12,000 pounds, they're going to get sideways. It's hard to control it once it's that sideways. So there might be some bumping, but if I can keep my lane and keep where I need to stay at, wait for somebody in front of me to mess up, I'm going to take it and try to make my way to the front.
As fate would have it, heavy rainfall sets in, just before the green flag was supposed to be waved. A mud bath has to be turned back into a racetrack. At nightfall, the gladiators enter the arena. Conditions are still very slick, making the trucks hard to control. After one last warm-up round, it is finally time to race. From the get-go, Treadway challenges Morgan's Mackvader. Whilst in front, Gibson finds enough grip to speed ahead of Black. Then Withmire bumps into Morgan and falls back. Maybe just what Morgan needed to overtake Treadway. But Treadway fights back, and with enough support from Withmire, is able to pass Morgan. Gibson is still ahead of Black, with both of them speeding away in front. Then Withmire touches the Mackvader again, with only a sharp counter steer preventing a disaster. A yellow flag mid-race brings some much-needed breathing room. With that, all gaps are gone, making it an open race before restart. At the restart, Nicholas is slightly ahead of Nick Black, with Treadway and Gibson putting the pressure on them from behind. Withmire is still giving Morgan a run for his money, just as much as Black Sr. and Jr. out in front. As Treadway loses his grip, Marshall Davis is able to sneak into fourth place, with Gibson before him, putting pressure on the front row. Meanwhile, in the back, Withmire, Cesar, and Morgan fight against friend, foe, and mud. Then Cesar finds enough grip on the outer lane to attack Morgan on his right flank. Mission complete. Black sets his final attack on Gibson. Break, slide, and conquer. Finally in the lead, the race is far from over, with Gibson, Davis, and Treadway following closely. With each round, Morgan's Mackvader loses more and more grip, making him an open target, until Withmire uses an opening on Morgan's right flank to finally get past him. Withmire's relentless pursuit has finally paid off. As the final round of the night begins, Black is still speeding away in first place, but Gibson in second is not done yet. With the ground deteriorating, Black and Gibson slide into the last curve with only one fault. Whoever makes it out untarnished wins the race.
Man, the race was hard. There was a lot of good trucks out there. Number 20 truck, Jameson Gibson. I was really hoping I could get by him there. It's just, the track's so slick, you can't predict nothing out here tonight. It's just, it's kind of wherever you're at is wherever you're gonna stay at. So I was able to get by him. There's a little bit of bumping going on there. I'm hoping it was a clean bump. We pulled it off tonight. It feels great. It feels great. I'm hoping we got one more race in Beckley, West Virginia coming up next weekend. If I can secure that one, I mean, it'll be a great season for me, but I'm not going to push my luck. If I can just make it out there and make a complete race without piling this truck up, we'll be doing good.